Hello, everybody. I'm Cathy Hailey. I am recording this reading in two parts, the features and the open mic. Please make use of the chat to share your praise and favorite elements of the poetry you hear. I'm Cathy Hailey, Northern Region Vice President of the Poetry Society of Virginia. Welcome to Poetry of Place, a reading in the Northern Region series in celebration of the Poetry Society of Virginia's centennial, featuring Laura J. Bobrow, Claudia Gary, and Wendell Hawken. Our lives change as we travel from place to place, whether physically, in memory and imagination, or vicariously as we read, view art, and listen to music. Courtney Faye Taylor, a Cave Canem Fellow and author of Concentrate, was featured in today's email update from Poets and Writers. Taylor says of travel, I visit Detroit to see my line sisters, Charlotte to see my mother, Brooklyn to see my love. I'm appreciative of what travel offers me artistically, a chance to experience something new, and in turn, say something new. There's the poet I am in Michigan, the poet I am in North Carolina, and the one I am in New York. Each poet is distinct. Each should speak. Let's listen to the voices of Laura J. Bobrow, Claudia Gary, Wendell Hawken, as they share their voices from the places they've traveled. We'll begin with Laura.
Am I on?
I'm going to read your bio now and then you'll go, okay? Laura J. Bobrow has been winning awards for her poetry ever since 1960, when former poet laureate Louis Untermeyer dubbed her the American Milne. She has been a judge for the annual competitions of the Florida State Poetry Association and the Poetry Society of Virginia. She is the author of 6 poetry chapbooks, including Of the Cat. That's the cover I'll put in the chat. In her life, Laura has been a magazine editor, author, folk singer, sculptor, painter, poet, and lyricist. She juggled all of these pursuits at once. It was when she discovered the world of storytelling that everything came together. The music, the art, and the visual excitement were all there. The epiphany came at a children's book writers conference when she listened to a storyteller describe the techniques he used to turn a told story into a book. There has been no stopping her since. Laura.
Thank you, Cathy. You know, I really don't travel, but when Cathy said place, I immediately thought of cats because cats are very particular about space. So I have chosen to share with you some poems from my chapbook Of the Cat. The Lucky Cat. This morning, I'm going to sleep in her bed. Here it is warm with a redolent smell, eau de cologne, where she lays her head, creating a hollow. It fits me quite well. Afternoon, once I have finished my nap, there's laundry to lie on. A good place to doze. Likely as not, she won't care a rap if she finds me curled up on her newly washed clothes. Except for some birding and grooming of fur, sleep is a thing that a feline does best. How lucky I am to be living with her. Each day is a challenge, each hour a quest regarding the place where I choose to recline. Every comfortable spot in this whole house is mine. To the new kitten. I've told this to you once or twice, no, 20 times to be precise. You must outgrow your need to keep close by me when I go to sleep. Your whiskers, like a scratchy mask, are nuzzled in my face. Don't ask. You manage with your kitten spread to take up more than half the bed. You lick my neck, and what is more, I have to listen to you snore. I want to let you know up front that I do love you. I'll be blunt. You're all I've ever wished for, but tonight the bedroom door stays shut. Dear cat, within my sacred writing spot, I am queen and you are not. There is one chair on which I sit. Your august bottom would not fit. Within my sacred writing sight, pure inspiration fills the night. Your mewing can't disrupt the zen within my sacred writing den. To the cat who is now lying on my manuscript. If you were I, and I were you, that is to say, a cat, or if you were tiny as a flea, it wouldn't be a factor. But here you are, impeding my magnificent new opus. You purr, you stretch, you're making it impossible to focus. And now you've torn it up, not just by silly accident. You have got that look upon your face. I think you really meant to. As for the work, I was myself somewhat a doubting Thomas. You're such a naughty cat. But as a critic, you show promise. Peter the gardener. Of all the world's possible mischief, Peter knows each variation. I've nicknamed him Peter the gardener, since that's his preferred occupation. The thing about gardening, says Peter, is that it's a communal endeavor. She needs me to help her. She wants me to help her. She likes me to help. I am clever. Are we ready to prune back the bushes? Although he's been busy elsewherely, brave Peter dives into the foliage. He keeps all his whiskers, but barely. Is it now time to water the pansies? And shouldn't we water the fescue? Do not be afraid of that wriggly green snake. Here comes Peter the cat to the rescue. He sinks his teeth into the monster, creating a wonderful spray. And see, it's a new sprinkler system. We've never had one till today. To watch Peter prance through the garden, impatience attached to one ear, is to witness a feline who's found his milieu. Yes, Peter the gardener is here. The lazy cat. Sweet kitchen noises from the house, the swick as cans release their tops, the sizzle of a frying pan. He salivates and licks his chops, while closer to his tingling ears, his drowsy feline mind perceives that mice pursue their livelihood and sparrows rustle in the leaves. At best, they'd make a paltry munch. Soft clouds take form and drift away. They'll call him when it's time for lunch. This one is called Perspective. I have taken the broom from its place in the hall. It is perfect for finding a lost rubber ball. The stove, says the cat. It is there without fail. Swish goes the broomstick, and swish goes his tail. Out comes a ball, which was formerly blue, and with it comes dust and a raw pea or two. I have looked at my house while ascending its stairs, dancing on carpets, or sitting in chairs. But now that I'm down on my hands and my knees, I can see things the way that my cat always sees. We live in a palace, enormous in size, with a ceiling so high it would dazzle your eyes, with magical corners and places to go where a giant may enter without stooping low. And finally, 19 years later, when there's wind in the oak trees, you might hear my voice. I left you too soon, but I hadn't a choice. When the raindrops fall lightly pronouncing my name, you'll know I am near, though it won't be the same. Be sure to pet Peter, tell Rosie meow. If mice raid the pantry, I can't help them now. If I could, I'd be with you, but here I am, gone. You're left there without me. You must carry on. So plump up the pillows and turn off the light. Be brave, human person. I kiss you good night.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Okay, we are going to move on to Claudia Gary, and I'll read her bio. So my apologies, but the computer went to dark mode and it's made me have difficulty finding the exact page that I needed. Here it is. I wasn't able to put an image in the chat, but I did put the link to the website where different books are listed. And if you scroll down, you'll find Of the Cat. Claudia Gary lives near Washington, D.C. and teaches workshops on villanelle, sonnet, natural meter, poetry versus trauma, etc. at the Writers Center, writer.org, currently via Zoom. Her poems are internationally published and anthologized. She has been a semifinalist for the Anthony Hecht Prize, Way Wiser, and received honorable mention in the 2021 Able Muse Book Contest. She has chaired panels at the Westchester University, Pennsylvania, and the Robert Frost Farm Poetry Conferences. Author of Humor Me 2006 and several chapbooks, most recently Genetic Revisionism 2019. She is also a health science writer, visual artist, and composer of tonal chamber music and art songs. For more information, she has a page on the Poets and Writers website, pw.org, content Claudia_Gary, and you can follow her on Twitter at Claudia Gary. Claudia, you're on.
Thank you, Cathy, and thank you everyone for being here. It's great to hear Laura. And while I have not traveled to all the places that I'll be reading about, only I've traveled to some of them, and you'll see some of them I couldn't possibly. I've placed something in the chat about my books and workshops, just so you can copy it later and save it for yourself if you want. So these are arranged from nearby to very far. Some of them have been published by journals in other countries, such as Netherlands and UK. Interestingly, people seem to publish things that relate to the most distant places from where they are. The first one's called Difficult Run. It's about a stream in Fairfax County, Virginia, the largest watershed in Fairfax County. Difficult Run. We've had one too, but here is a stream that leads somewhere with or without our care. The sidewalk turns and follows where a storm drain gulps and swallows. Its signage warns, keep clear. And now sweet rain arrives to ensure the woods stay green, though trash collects unseen. In the sign, a fish swims free on stenciled waves to sea. Alone, the fish survives. If the drain gets clogged too high, will the fish be you or I? This next one is about Key Bridge in Washington, D.C. And it will, in 2023, apparently it will be 100 years old. Key Bridge, Tuesday morning. And this is, by the way, this is a persona poem. It's in the voice of the bridge. I look down at the face of the Potomac, alive with sunlight. Then I bask a moment, look up at rubber shoes and tires spinning along the pavement of my span between Roslyn and Georgetown. Students, workers, tourists, under the bluest sky, breathing fresh air and feeling free. But here's a dour face, yesterday's debutante, today's chic matron, jogging across the river, eyes fixed forward, thoughts inward, worrying about her waistline, reliving last night's table conversation, reviewing her to-do and shopping lists, planning a party and a hair appointment, revising next year's garden, anything but what's around. A harried driver looks up and wishes she were outside glass and metal like this trim woman in a running suit who must be having a much better morning. This next one, and can everyone hear me? Okay. Okay, thanks. This next one is, it's in my chapbook, Let's Get Out of Here. It has to do with Fort McHenry in Baltimore. And it's a recasting of a very well-known song into a sonnet. Anthem. Do me a favor. When you go outside, look over toward the harbor. If you squint, you'll see it, or you won't, but it can't hide from sun setting or rising. There's a hint, a remnant, where a spangled patch embroidered above the rosy contrails of the dawn still waves, as if the stars had reconnoitered their sister light. Why do I ramble on? There was a battle once to tear away that piece of cloth and burn it while we slept. We triumphed, but the gremlins are at play, sowing confusion as to what we've kept and what we're losing now, unless we save more than a recollection of the brave. So this next one, moving a little farther away, but still a place I've been. It's called Flyover Zone. Some say Louisiana Purchase best describes Midwest. Why not a stretch between the wide Missouri and the smooth prairie before it starts to bunch up into cliffs? No whys or ifs, only the geographic definition of an omission. No mention of the old ancestral grit and laws rewarding it with land, for some, not all, with fortitude. My own ancestral brood clung to the harbor, toiled so they could feast in what you call back east. We hardly ever thought of pioneers, except in grade school years, while sitting in a movie matinee on a dim Saturday, too hot or cold or rainy for the beach. There we would reach for popcorn, see the cowboys' big blue sky, and watch their bullets fly. And maybe we considered Hollywood a next door neighborhood. So next, somewhere I have never been, but heard about all my life. This is called The Gate Reopens. It refers to Germany, west and east. This is about to be published in Beltway Literary Journal, which is based in the Washington, D.C. area. The gate reopens. My father taught me not to fear a moment of forgetting. If it's important, he said, you will remember it. With mom and me, he watched on black and white TV, families divided by barbed wire as the Berlin Wall went up. No sooner did it fall than he was on a plane. He would cross checkpoint Charlie, walk through the Brandenburg Gate, bring us back shards of concrete, spray painted and demolished. Fluorescent green, graffiti words, divided, not forgotten. And let's see. The next is the Red Road. The next I would never possibly be able to visit. It's called the Red Roadster, and it's actually a parody of a famous poem, The Red Roadster. So much depends upon a red-wheeled roadster blazed across Twitter beside the blue planet. I wrote that before its owner bought Twitter, by the way. Thanks. So, and this next one is called Message to Earthlings from Voyagers 1 and 2. So we're getting farther and farther away from Earth. This is for Carolyn Porco, Voyager imaging scientist and Cassini imaging leader. Beyond some human lifetimes now, we've filled your minds with data, pictures, dreams. Though twinned, our paths diverge, itineraries build. Reaching the boundary of solar wind, we rode its termination shock to sail out into plasma space. While you continue sorting our childhood photos, they grow stale. We bear vital statistics from within you, your faces, body images, and voices, toward other stars, toward anyone who cares enough to grasp your golden disc, your choices of what they'll see, hear, touch, assuming there's contact or empathy. Onward we fly, your complex way to say hello, goodbye. Thank you. And my last poem here is called A Panpsychist Confides in the Universe, which is basically here and all over the universe. And this is in my latest chapbook, Genetic Revisionism. A panpsychist confides in the universe, which is also a sonnet, by the way. The epigraph. The notion of a conscious universe turns out to have prominent supporters in a variety of fields. From NBC News in 2017. Ours was a lovely secret while it lasted. Now astrophysicists lay claim to you and turn their telescopes to rummage through the sweet coincidences we once tasted. My thought experiment was never wasted, thanks to your expertise. But what they'll do is nail you to a grid and misconstrue their wonder. As with farms bulldozed and blasted by speculator heirs, you're bound to see surveyors measure you for standard size parcels, mark straight lines, lop off hills, untree. Still, you and I will not forget the prize of intersecting fates, the cloudless view of oceans, galaxies we always knew. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claudia. I'm going to read Wendy's bio, and then as soon as I finish, I'm going to ask you all to switch over to the second Zoom link. I wasn't thinking that when we started a little bit early that we were using up some of our time, so I think it'll be fine, but I'll just read the bio. A Washington, D.C. native, Wendell Hawken came to poetry late in life and earned her MFA in poetry at Warren Wilson decades after college. Her publications include 3 chapbooks and 4 full collections: The Luck of Being, White Bird, a sequence about her husband's battle with cancer, Stride for Stride, A Country Life, and Afterward. These span 2008 to 2022. Hawken lives on a grass farm in the northern Shenandoah Valley, where the first meaning of AI is artificial insemination. 2 dogs keep her company. So if everybody will go ahead and sign out and then sign back in on the second Zoom link, we'll continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.